This habit of the penitent and sackcloth of condemned heretics is to be hung up in the church of that parish where they dwell, that these sort of ensigns may be a monument to keep the everlasting remembrance of the impiety. For the name of the heretics and the reasons of their condemnation are to be inscribed and renewed on them. The History of the Inquisition by Lembrock Philippus, 1633-1712. So during the Auto de Fe, or Acts of Faith, the clothes of the convicted dead were hung up in the churches on display as a memorial of their execution and condemnation. One example of the hanging of dead victims' clothing and the curation of the bones of the Negroes during the Auto de Fe takes us all the way to Rwanda, where in 1994, the genocide of more than 800,000 Hutus and Tutsis took place. One of the lesser known facts about the genocide is the role that the Catholic Church played. In an article by The Guardian labeled Rwanda Genocide, Catholic Church sorry for the roles of priests and nuns in killings, the author wrote, "The Catholic Church in Rwanda apologized on Sunday for the church's role in the 1994 genocide, saying it regretted the actions of those who participated in the massacres. We apologize for all the wrongs the church committed. We apologize on behalf of all Christians for all forms of wrongs were committed." The statement acknowledged that the church members planned, aided, and carried out the genocide, in which more than 800,000 ethnic Tutsis and moderate Hutus were killed by Hutu extremists. In Rwanda, in the territory of Ntarama, a church has been immortalized because of the brutal slaughter that took place there during the Rwandan tragedy. This Catholic church, just like the Auto de Fe of the past, has the victims, the Negroes, clothing hanging from the rafters as a memorial, and also an ossuary of the bones of the said victims. The interesting thing about the Franciscan Bone Chapel is that the Franciscans were fierce enemies of the Jews and were the catalyst behind riots that led to massacres of Jews in Navarre. During the 15th century, the Franciscan monks were very active in fomenting hatred towards the Jews. A History of the Jewish People, edited by H.H. Ben Sasson. In 1328, the Jews in Navarre were massacred when the murderous mob was inflamed by a Franciscan monk named Pedro Aliguegan. A Psychoanalytic History of the Jews by Abner Falk. The church, too, now became more deeply involved since the Franciscan Pedro Aliguegan was generally considered one of the main ringleaders of the Programists. The Social and Religious History of the Jews by Salto Whitmire